Okay, you gonna?
Yeah.
Did you already do mine?
No. You can do your own. So have you ever used a punch?
I haven't. Is it just?
Okay. No. Oh. That's your cutter.
Okay.
So like your cap.
Just punch it in.
Yeah. Just a little bit. You don't need to go too heavy on it. And you'll pull it out.
Yep.
Yeah. And then. Oh. I love this punch because I can throw it on anything. And it was cheap.
I'm gonna have to brush my teeth after this, or Emma won't kiss me.
As long as I've gotten used to it, though. Go away. Is this time first? Wow, I just burped on your podcast.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. But this is the first time you smoked on it.
It is.
Wow.
Josiah and I have talked about it.
Corrupted you. So I'm drinking. I'm smoking.
You are. You're a horrible person. That's how we start.
Wow.
Well, welcome everyone to Featuring Fatherhood. We talk all things faith, family, and fatherhood related. Obviously, today we are not in my basement studio. We are in the great
Skylight.
Yeah, we added a skylight, changed up the basement a little bit. No, we are in the Great Smoky Mountains for Zeno Family Vacation 2023. And this is my little brother, Eric, even though he doesn't look littler than me and is a complete and utter ginger, and I am not.
I was going to say, I think I outweigh you. And
You probably do. I think you started to outweigh me
in elementary school.
Well, I was a twig, and you
Still
were not fat, but you were not a twig.
The pants were called Husky.
I do remember that. Yep.
There's that.
Yep. So, but anyways, we thought it would be fun to do a podcast together while we were here on vacation because I think Eric has a lot of cool things that he can talk about in his life as a father because he has a really unique and, I mean, I think impressive career. I was telling you earlier this week, like I brag on you to everyone, like all the time. So, tell us what you do, and then tell us about your family.
So,
and give me that lighter because.
Oh yeah,
thank you.
Currently, I am a forestry technician. Parentheses fire. For the U.S. Forest Service, and a disclaimer for that is this is not an official U.S. Forest Service interview. This is on my own time, so any views, opinions are my own.
Doesn't want to get in trouble with his boss.
Don't get me fired, please.
But in short, you're a forest firefighter.
Yeah, so the government actually doesn't recognize that term.
Okay.
Until I die. So there's
please don't die.
Right. So the really sad thing about this job is the public generally knows what we are. The government knows what we are, but you cannot call someone a firefighter without there's some healthcare benefits that come with it. There's some other things that come with it. So the only time that me and my coworkers are ever called firefighters are if we die in the line of duty or we're a pawn for the government.
Okay.
So like right now there's a bill called Tim's bill. He's a firefighter that passed away. He's a smoke jumper that passed away a couple of years ago. And in that is the recognition that we are firefighters. And they're currently changing that actually. Okay. So eventually, like, I don't know, maybe this year.
Gotcha.
I'll be actually deemed a wildland firefighter.
Well, whenever people ask what you do, I say, oh, he's a forest firefighter. Right. Because that's what everyone understands. But yeah, so you work for the Bureau of Land Management. No?
Not
you used to.
Yeah. So
you're with.
So it went Corps of Engineers as a park ranger to the Bureau of Land Management as a range tech, parentheses fire, to the Park Service as fire, and then back to the Corps of Engineers, and then back to the Park Service, and now to the Forest Service.
Okay. Fun fact, by the way, out of the 4 members of our family, I am the only one to never work for the government, specifically never work for the National Park Service. All the others have.
Yeah, everyone in the family, including Selena, has even worked for
my
the
sister-in-law
Corps of
too.
Engineers.
And well, Emma hasn't.
Right.
But yeah,
You're the
so,
oddballs out.
Yep. I think Mom once made a joke. 3 federal employees and a pastor walk into a bar. It was family dinner. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, so with your job, you have now tell us about your family.
Oh, right. So I'm married to my wife, Selena.
And who performed your marriage ceremony?
Some weirdo.
Dude, it was weird. I heard he started off your wedding by going, marriage.
Basically a teenager.
It was me, if you can't tell.
So her and I got married in 2019, and then like 3 months later, we were pregnant with our first child, Oliver.
Hold up. Does she let you say we were pregnant, or does she get mad at you?
I don't know. You'd have to ask her. She's over there.
Emma gets mad at me if I say we're pregnant because she's like, you're not pregnant.
I know she got really mad at me when I said that the chair in the delivery room was really uncomfortable.
Yeah, don't do that.
It was kind of funny, though.
Okay, continue. Oliver.
So Oliver was born in 2020.
Yes.
And then Benji, our second, was born in 2022, right at the end of 2022.
So you've got a 3-year-old and a
like a
6-month-old.
2.5, 2 3/4, and,
Okay.
and then like a 6-month-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
So
that right? Math?
yeah.
Math?
Yeah.
Math.
Yeah.
I don't do math.
So I think what's really interesting, I think what you would have some interesting stuff to share is with your job, you guys live in Texas.
Yeah.
But with your job, you're gone. What's the percentage of the year?
Oh, well.
Or how many maybe like weeks?
It really depends on the season. So, like 2021 is a great one because Oliver was born already.
Yeah.
I was gone a lot. It was literally like, hey, I'm gone for 16 days, back for 10.
Okay.
I had to self-quarantine.
Oh yeah, I was back in COVID.
And then it was actually really nice because I got to quarantine at home. It's like, oh, you're going to pay me to sit at home with my family? That's awesome. I love my job now. And then gone, like by the time your 10 days was up, they were already asking like, hey, can you go out again? I think I went out at least on like 4 assignments that season.
So you were probably gone a total of,
it's
what, like 3-4 months?
Yeah. I mean, it's average because there was a survey done for spouses. It's average that your Wildland Fire spouse is gone for 3 to 9 months.
Okay. Yeah. So you're away from your kids a lot. Selena was actually joking about it earlier in this trip. You just got home from a 15-day assignment.
Yeah.
Like right before we left.
Yeah.
So she was like, I mean, I was a single mom for 15 days, which she was in like, it's your turn to do everything. Mm-hmm. But I want to know, like, what is that like as a dad, like being away from your kids that long? Because like, it's important what you're doing. It's what you love to do.
Right.
And it's how you're providing for your family. Right. But like, obviously there's got to be a little bit of some hardship in there with that.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I missed Oliver's first crawl, first steps, his first laughter. Now I get video of this.
Right. But
yeah,
it's different than being there in person.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting for Oliver because I was gone for most of those, like, I don't want to say milestones, but
firsts.
Yeah. Benji, it's been a little easier. So the neat thing about Texas is I don't have to go out on every assignment. I can stay home. Now, the catch on that is sometimes we're busy at home.
Right.
So, like last season, I missed Oliver's second birthday because I was on fire.
Right.
So, that one actually hit hard. I was visibly upset and annoyed.
Like the guys on your crew could tell?
Definitely the next day they could. Well, and then when I got home, because by the time I got home, like everybody had left.
Yeah.
So the party was over, and Oliver was going to bed soon. So I was able to say goodnight to him, but Selena could tell I was pretty mad.
Yeah.
And so I mean, you just kind of deal with it, and that's when you go on the vacations. You
Right.
try to make the most of it, and but again with Benji, I've been able to see more. The fact that he hasn't crawled yet is kind of neat. Like he may do it on this trip.
Right. He's pretty close to it.
I've been like pushing him down, like, no, you're not going yet. So, yeah, I've missed one birthday so far and 2 out of my 3 anniversaries.
Yeah. So I mean that's definitely hard. How's that like? How's Selena? Like, what's her kind of response to that? Or like, I mean, I'm sure she doesn't love it,
No, but she's used to it,
right?
and
she understands.
Yeah. So when her and I met, I was at a point too where I kind of, I don't want to say sabotage relationships, but I was just like, hey, this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving that up for anyone.
Right.
And, this is the deal.
Right.
And she kind of got used to it, especially after the first season, because we were doing long distance for that one. And the fact that we now live together,
Yeah.
that's easier. But yeah, there's times she's over it. She's like, I need you to not.
Yeah.
I enjoy the money,
Right.
but I need you here.
Right.
Or when I'm on my days off, I have to make up for
Right.
it. Like,
Which, and like being in Texas, that does give you guys a little bit more flexibility with that.
yes. Yeah. And I say that, but like I'm going year round.
Yeah.
So it's our burn season is like January 1st or whatever the first day of the year is, like whatever that first Monday is.
First day of the year is typically January 1st.
Right. Whatever the first Tuesday, Monday, whatever the first business day is, we hit the ground running on my forest and we start doing prescribed fire. So this year we burned like 35,000 acres, and then right into that we go into wildfire season. So it's,
which side note, because some people may not recognize this.
yeah, you gotta stop me if I'm using terminology.
No, you're fine. You're doing good. I think, I mean, especially because some of the people watching this like are people from Fort Wayne area. So we don't know much about forest fires because we don't have
Smoke in
any.
your area right now is because of Canada.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Canada. But so forest firefighters, like you definitely go out into the forest fires that happen every summer.
Yeah.
But throughout the rest of the year, you're actually starting fires.
Yeah.
But those are like in order to prevent bigger fires. It's basically controlling it, right?
Yeah, it's a controlled burn. It's a prescribed burn. It's the prevention of catastrophic wildfires is always in the burn plan. Most likely, especially in your area, it's going to be like we're managing for this particular forest type and forest health.
Yeah. So all that to say, you're part of your job is going out.
Yeah.
Because you've been to a lot of places. That's definitely your kid out there. Yeah. You've been to a lot of places: California, Nevada. You were just in Wisconsin, right?
Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. They're like the same thing.
I mean, they border, but yeah.
But you've been to a lot of states for different fires.
Yeah.
But then you also do a lot of prescribed fires at home.
Yeah. My prescribed fire resume, I guess, has been Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Florida, Texas, Illinois.
Yeah.
And then wildfires are just all over the West and South.
So is it then like during the prescribed fire season, is it more like 9 to 5 sort of hours? Or is it still
It's cute.
I mean, I don't work 9 to 5 either, so
I work 6:30 to whenever we tell you can go home.
okay, so that's what that's what I was wondering. Like, is it until the day's job is done, or because I know like when you're on a fire, you're just gone for 15 days or whatever.
Right. So typically on a prescribed fire, if everything goes to plan, we try to do like 4 10s. So 4 10-hour shifts.
Okay.
In a week. And if you're on a prescribed fire, you may not get that. It may be you come out at 6:30 and you're there until like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I think that was my first day on my force now that I was gone at 6:30 a.m. or I had to be in the office at 6:30 a.m. and then I got home by like 9 p.m.
Yeah. So it's definitely like you're at least home at night, but it's not necessarily like, I mean, the kids are asleep by the time you wake up and get home.
There's definitely a couple of times where I went probably like 36 hours, 46 hours
Without
without
seeing
seeing
them.
the kids.
Yeah. So it's
So-
in a sense a little bit easier because at least you're there, but like you're still not in a
Yeah.
sense.
And that's where the 410 schedule is awesome because if I do take my full weekend, I get 3 days off.
Yeah.
Typically, especially when we go into fire staffing, so 7-day coverage, which I was told that's what to expect when I get back, I'll get 1 day off.
Okay.
And the overtime's awesome for that, but like there's still that reset day
Yeah.
of hanging out, and we try to do whatever we can. Usually it's on a Sunday. I try to take my Sundays off.
Yeah.
So we'll go to church and then we'll go to whatever.
So what, like your days off, like when you're not working the fire, like what does that look like for your family? Like how are you not making up? Because making up is a bad, like that makes it sound like you're doing something wrong. Like you're not, but you're not.
Accurate term.
I mean, but you're not doing anything wrong by working your job. But like, how do you like focus on your family during your days off?
So typically it's like, hey, you have the kids the whole day.
Selena says that to you.
Yeah.
So it's giving her a little bit of a break.
I try. It's a lot. So it will be, I usually get up with either Oliver or Benji.
Yeah.
And once Oliver's up, I have to make him breakfast. So there was a time period, I want to say at least 2 weeks, where it was like, I'm here, so I'm making him breakfast. I'm making him pancakes. And then...
Like even on the days you're about to go in to work?
Yeah, he's still asleep by the time I leave.
Okay, gotcha.
But if I have a day off, I'm making him pancakes. And so then I will have my coffee, and because he sees me drinking coffee, he wants coffee. I'm not about to give a toddler coffee.
Why? I let Mia have a sip of mine.
It's insane. And so he has a coffee cup from our aunt and uncle, Lori and Marshall, that says Oliver on it. You can just keep that because mine's staying lit. And
sorry, I don't smoke mine as fast as you do.
It has Oliver on it, and so I pour apple juice in it and say it's coffee.
That's great coffee.
So him and I will have coffee in the morning. And then it's like I got to catch up on whatever house chores. I mow the lawn. Typically it's a Sunday, so we're going to church. Mm-hmm. Once we're back from church, they go down for their nap, and then we're keeping Oliver outside.
Okay.
As long as the weather holds out, it's like 110 degrees in my home state right now. So he'll ride his bike all day. He doesn't care about the heat. I do. And we have a little...
Which is surprising because you're surrounded by fire all the time.
It's a dry heat.
It's true.
It's dry. It's not 110 degrees with 95% humidity.
That's fair.
So he'll play outside on his bike all day, and then we have one of them plastic pool
water table
things.
Pools. Yeah.
And we'll play in that.
Okay.
To not die of the heat. That's like our whole day. And then if we have to run errands, it's Selena typically gets to do that. So like I haven't seen the inside of a grocery store in
you were saying earlier this week that like you were upset by that or something like that.
I like grocery shopping. I like going to the store because then it's a break.
Yeah, I get that. I usually whenever I'm going to the store, I usually give Emma a break and take Mia with me, which is just horrible right now. But okay, so your days off, you're like you've got some intentional time with Oliver.
Yeah,
you're giving Selena a break. You're doing family stuff. What about like tell everyone about like what you're doing to be intentional with your family while you're still on fires, because you started something like a year or so ago that I think is really cool.
Yeah, so Selena's part of a spouses page for Wildland Firefighters, and I don't know how generational this is, but Flat Stanley was a thing. You had Flat Stanley.
Yep. My Flat Stanley went on the Air Force One.
I didn't have Flat Stanley.
You didn't have Flat Stanley?
No, that was like gone by the time I had it.
Who did you have as your second grade teacher?
Daria Helfrich.
Oh, that's right. That was when Mrs. Pernitis moved to kindergarten. Yeah.
But anyway, so we didn't do Flat Stanley, but she found this post on a spouse's page saying like, hey, take your kid, have your kid give whoever the firefighter is in the house a small toy, something it's tiny that, whatever. And they take it with them and take pictures of it, kind of like Flat Stanley. So Oliver gave me. He was like 1 when this happened. So a stuffed lobster. That's a big bug. It's a big bug. He gave me a stuffed lobster, and I started taking pictures with it on fires and would send them that day if I had service to Selena, and it was able, for him to see. The idea is it helps explain why
dad is.
Mom or dad is gone all the time.
Yeah, and shows a little bit about what they're doing.
Right. So after about a season of that, I was like, this would be really cool to like do an Instagram page. And I was new to Instagram at the time. I had Facebook and that was it. And YouTube. So I was like, that's cool. Let's do an Instagram page. And I cleared it with her. And we have some rules, like it's a private page. So I vet anyone who likes it. And then, there's really no pictures of the kids on it. It's
just this lobster.
It's strictly the lobster. And lately I've been really bad about like having the lobster in the frame. So, because it's in my cargo pocket.
Yeah.
And usually stuff happens quick.
So you take the lobster like with you every day.
It's on every fire. It's been, so I've gotten injured twice on fire and it's been in my pocket the whole time.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like it's there with me whenever I'm getting patched up, or it's with me when I'm cutting trees, or it's kind of a keepsake. So now we have an Instagram page called Lobster on Fire, which you can like follow. I'll vet you.
I will link it below.
It's easier when you want to follow it, take yours off private, because if I can see what you're posting and it's not weird, inappropriate stuff, I'll let you follow. So yeah, and then now I've been posting more stuff to that
than just sending it home.
Yeah, and so some of it is I just send it straight to home, because there's stuff you have to be careful what you post on fire still.
Right.
So a great example of that, I think I put it in my story. It was last only like 24 hours, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so it's gone. Was a bucket or a plane dropping water on fire.
Yeah.
And
I saw that.
It was in slow-mo.
Yeah.
Oliver got it in his head that I'm the one flying the plane, and I'm not going to correct that.
As you should not.
Those guys make a lot of money.
Also, it's cool.
Yeah.
So Oliver, just Selena, then every time you post it or send it home, she just shows them.
Yeah.
And tells them a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah. So there's, I usually have captions with it, and I'm trying to also be educational with it. So there's been a lot of tree posts of this is an aspen tree. You can tell by the way it is. And I actually posted that.
I know. I saw that one.
So anytime I see
what'd you do?
Do that.
Hold this. Technical difficulties.
I don't like technology. Anytime I find something unique or cool about the area that we're working in, I'll try to post something about that. And so,
yeah. I think that's really cool, especially because I just think about it as you continue to do this and as the boys get older, that's just gonna be something cool for them to follow along.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I also do love the fact that it shows other people what you're doing. Because for me, I'm I never know where you're at. I'm I'll just go check Lobster on Fire, see if he's on a fire or whatever. But
it changes daily.
Yeah. No, I think that's really cool. I think that's a really good way. I didn't even think about the fact that you have the lobster with you, so it's not only for the boys, but it is a little reminder of home for you too.
Yeah, and I did that before when I was in Nevada. I had I went to some shop in Alton and had them make me a flag of Alton.
Oh, okay.
Because I was more loyal to the town.
Which is our hometown, by the way.
I was more loyal to the town than the rest of the state.
Technically, our hometown is Godfrey, but they connect to each other.
Well, it doesn't even matter because you say, where are you from? Alton, Illinois. Where's that?
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for a while I had that
Yeah.
in my pocket, and I lost that flag somewhere.
Catch on fire.
No, I think it's sitting in my old office in Louisville.
Oh, okay.
From a different agency.
Okay.
Yeah. So that park ranger has a weird flag in his office
Well,
now.
do you think he's kept it?
I don't know. If they're anything like me, usually when you take over a desk and there's stuff on there, like memes or mementos, it just stays there. So I have printouts from the previous guy at my desk.
Okay. If I take over someone's desk, I'll get rid of it and put my own stuff up.
I've slowly added my own stuff.
You just keep everything else.
Yeah, I'm not going to tear it down. It's part of the office.
So, I guess what else about your job, do you feel like affects fatherhood? Like, obviously we talked about you being gone a lot and how you focus your time when you are with the boys, and then how you're also doing stuff away from home. But how's it affect your mindset, when you're on a fire?
You typically don't think about it.
Which makes sense because you got so much going on.
Right. So it's part of a broader conversation that we're having in our community of mental health and everything. It's and you got to remember, we have the highest divorce rate. We have the highest, we have some really bad stats in my community on mental health and everything.
In the forest firefighter community.
Yes. Because we're a part of first responders, but we're a weird set of first responder. And so it really affects us differently than, say, police, regular fire, EMS, all that.
Right.
So you really have to do you have to check your teammates. So this last role I was on, I was the person in charge.
Yeah.
And I usually try to do a mid roll check, hey, everything good at home, everybody cool. Because if somebody's not focused on the job right now, it puts us all at risk.
Right. If they're distracted by something going on at home.
Right.
Yeah.
And we try not to get too deep into everybody's business, but it's hey man, do you need to sit today out or whatever, and we'll take care of it. So, the other part, I have things set in place if X happens.
Yeah.
I haven't written Benji's yet, but I have a letter.
I don't know if I want to hear this part, but continue.
So on my desk, I have a letter for Selena and I have a letter for Oliver if something really bad happens.
Yep.
And in that list or it's not a list, but in that letter for Oliver, there's last little pieces of advice. Go away. Last piece of advice. And now I have to actually make sure he knows that stuff before he reads it, because I don't want him to read it at the age of 18.
Yeah.
If that's when X happens, and it's I was around for 18 years. Why didn't you say this beforehand? Right. So kids are really bad at holding you accountable. But there's stuff in there don't cheap out. Shop for the bargains, but don't cheap out, because you're, and there's other things in there you need to pray it's a regular conversation. If you can just have a regular conversation with God all day, that's you praying.
Yeah.
Talk to him he's your friend, because he is, but have that respect deal. You know what I'm talking about?
We're a little bit slanted downhill, so his mic keeps shifting.
I don't like technology.
So you've got letters with advice for him, but it's also stuff that I thought you said you wouldn't have to relight it.
Yeah, well, I was talking.
But it's also stuff that you're making sure you're still teaching him.
Yeah,
and hopefully he never has to read that letter.
Right. So there's be a conservationist, because that's the field I'm in, is conservation. I'm hoping to teach him fishing.
Yeah.
This coming. So if he learns those things, because we kind of grew up fishing.
You did more than I
got more of the outdoorsy stuff than you did.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping to pass that on to him, and that's in there. And so every once in a while, if I need to be what do I need to teach him right now? I can refer back to him. Like, oh, I haven't talked about that with him for a while.
Pull out my letter. Let's see.
Which, like, it's hard to do that with a 2-year-old too. Of like, all right, you gotta have your cast this way, and so, there's, and it's a good self check for me too. Of like, okay, is this what I want him to know?
Yeah,
because there's things that he's gonna have to learn anyway.
Oh crap!
Oh, you broke it.
I wasn't paying attention.
You broke it.
It was only 30 seconds over.
So you're gonna have to go to like one of these face ones, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Sorry, continue.
Interesting. So yeah, you have to. I don't know what I was saying. Something about teaching him stuff.
Yeah, teaching him stuff that we completely lost it with the camera going out. Well, I think let's end it with this. Like, what has been the biggest lesson on fatherhood you feel like you've learned, like in your season of being a dad and being a forest firefighter?
It's something I have to reteach myself every day.
That's totally fine.
But it's being present.
Yeah.
Because there I was kind of mentioning it earlier. There was a survey done, and there was a question of like, when your spouse is here, are they really here?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they're not, because they're still thinking about work. They're still taking texts from work. So it's, I have to catch myself on that a lot. And I've gotten better. I don't know, so you can fact check that. But I feel like I've gotten better of like, hey, I'm off.
Right.
Don't talk to me.
Right.
And I'm with my kids. So I feel like that's been the biggest thing that I harp on myself about.
Well, and I'll just close it out by this. I have to give you credit because I think, so back in 2019, we were doing your premarital counseling.
Yeah.
Like we, obviously as part of that, we talked about, which was weird, by the way, for me to do his premarital counseling. I don't know if it was weird.
Sex.
I don't know if it was weird for you.
No.
But like we talked about kids, and at one point, I remember whether this was during premarital or like right after Oliver was born, like you mentioning the fact of like how you felt it was hard to connect, or you were scared it would be hard to connect with him, and like even just on this vacation, like I gotta tell you, like I've been impressed by like how present, how focused you are. Like it's just impressive. Like watching you with them. And so like when you're talking about like being present with them, like, oh yeah, no, you definitely have learned that. You definitely do that well. And I also know like how much you've kind of in your own self had to overcome to get to that point.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely easier when they can talk back to you.
Yeah.
And you can like kind of have a conversation.
It's hard
with them.
when they're young.
Yeah.
When they're real little. Yeah.
Yeah, when he has no words to describe what he wants. Like, I got nothing for you, dude. Here's milk.
Even with Benji, like, I mean, we're hiking down from Laurel Falls today, and you've got him on the front strap, and you've got you're holding a bottle to him. It's funny, but like even like him, like just crawling around, like, and you're on the floor playing with him. So, yeah. Well, I think that's it. Anything else you want to say about fires and fatherhood and?
Go support your local Wildland Institute. If that's Forest Service, BLM, Park Service. We hate when you come up to us and say thank you, but deep down it's like, hey, we're actually doing a good job. So,
last thing, what would be if someone wants to learn more about like what it's like being a forest firefighter, or about like what would be? I've watched the movie. What was the one about the Yarnell fire?
So that's,
which I know you've got opinions on.
Yeah.
Not jumping into that.
Yeah.
Also, I know you don't like the TV show with Cal Fire with Max
I have
Thoreau
no
or whatever.
opinions on Cal Fire right now.
What would you say? Like, is there a book? Is there a documentary? Like, what would be the best thing for someone to like grab to learn more?
It's going to sound goofy, but Planes Fire and Rescue, if you're wanting a movie, Planes Fire and Rescue actually did the research. It's one of the best films regarding wildfires and things like that. Other than that, it's literally go talk to your, even if it's your state forest service, your DNR, whatever you got, ask them about their prescribed fire program, ask them about their wildland fire program. Because as fire seasons get longer and, I mean, this one's been pretty mild so far.
Except for, I mean, for us, we've got all that smoke from Canada. Thanks, Canada.
That's Canada's problem. Well, that's the
Wisconsin
thing.
too,
They're having issues because they're not learning from their past. It's a personal opinion, and
I knew you were gonna say that.
But yeah, so like go talk to your local expertise folks. But yeah, Plains Fire Rescue, that's a good place to start. Honestly, they did their research on it.
I haven't watched that, so I'll have to watch it.
Oh, you should. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I do like the Yarnell Fire movie. What's that called?
Only the Brave.
Only Brave. I do like that one.
I would read the books. And
I read the book too,
and then watch the movie.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for this week's episode of Featuring Fatherhood. Like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this episode, we really appreciate it if you share it with someone. So, thanks, buddy.
Anytime.
Also, I know you're the biggest fan of the show. Selena told me that you're our biggest fan.
I will yell at the screen constantly. I'm like, you're an idiot. No. We actually answer the questions, like whatever you and Josiah do.
Oh, yeah, like the game ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, yeah. I remember because Selena told
like
me.
the first episode.
One, like, what would be the 3 instruments you would play perfectly?
Yeah.
And you answered, like, the exact same as me, and you were pissed.
Yeah. It was a little annoying.
Bagpipes.
I think we said mandolin, too.
Mandolin, bagpipes. What was the other one? And violin. I said violin.
Oh.
I don't know if you said the exact same, but. Yeah.
That was like, what, 6 months ago?
Oh, it was a long time. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we should go before the kids wake up. I think yours is up. I think it's time for the pool, too. All right. Bye.